One shall stand, and one shall fall.
Yeah. New kids on the block. We here and making it pop. Don't care if you like it or not. The spot we want is the top. The head nerds in charge and I foresee to making things happen. If you think you heard what you thought you heard, go ahead and play that thing back. Coming out the speakers in the car in the man cave. The mother bus is about to be knocked off the airwaves. So be very afraid. Better check your gameplay. Sitting on all that and finna take away your fan base. The stage is set. Better put respect up on our name. What you get right now, you get it later. A consistent game, a steady dosage. Once you started, you can't get enough. The people's chant ain't a topic we ain't finna touch. So bring your A game, cause the boys behind the mic finna do the same thing. One time for the one time, let it off like bang bang. We aiming to be the greatest. We accepting any challenge. With a snap of the finger, bringing balance. Let's make it happen. You tuned in to the place to be. You tuned in to HNIC.
Head nerds in charge.
You tuned in to the place to be. You tuned in to HNIC.
Forget about the way it used to be. This is not a damn democracy. We are in a state of emergency, and my word is law. There's only one boss in this place, and that's me. The HNIC.
We are live, the head women in charge today, as you can clearly see, because there are no men's around. It is just Tough and I for our spooky boopy show.
Yeah, so happy almost Halloween. It's Mischief Night, and the ladies are in charge. We do have some fellas around, but you know how we do. They just here to serve and be looked at.
Everybody, we have our spooky cupcakes here that you can see with our little pumpkins and our ghosts and spiders.
Our little Halloween cupcakes.
Oh, and they're rings, so I can put it on later and use it as glam. That's gonna be cute. I look forward to that.
Yes, we also have some nice spooky guests coming through later. The ladies from Ghouls Next Door podcast will be dropping in hopefully soon. And we have a really exciting show for you guys. I'm super, super excited. Are you ready, Sass?
I'm ready. I've been ready. I've been ready since 8 a.m. And I'm here.
And yeah, as you can see, I have my costume, my unfinished Blossom cosplay from goddamn it, Powerpuff Girls. I've been saying it all day and can't remember it now.
Yeah, and I just choose to reveal myself to all of you, my horns and teeth, since this is Mischief Night. I'm here to cause mischief.
Bye, I'm with it. Horns and teeth all day. First things first, though, I want to let everybody know next week our show is only going to be an hour because next week is lit karaoke. So come on down to Chuck's Alibi up in the Northeast and do karaoke with us. You can come in cosplay or not. I would suggest you bring your A-game though, since we had a whole bunch of really great singers.
Yeah, like definitely have your vocal cords prepared because they came like prepared to win. Everybody did. I don't know what was going on. It was like everybody came out and was a superstar. I'm surprised half of them haven't gotten signed yet.
Yo, they came to slay, not to play. And I mean, you can't really blame them though. We have a $200 cash prize on the line. Mm-hmm. So bring your A game. Come out to Chuck's Alibi. Doors open at 8 for the lit karaoke. So, yes. Alrighty. And then we're probably going to say this like 100 more times, but J1Con is this weekend, and we are going to be there!
Woo! This is going to be a fun time.
I know, so I'm excited because it's my first like bigger con with you guys, and we're going to like show out, and I got my little sassy, sexy cosplay outfit for the prom, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too. I actually just got my stuff in the mail today when I was on the phone with my mom. And she was just like, somebody rang my doorbell. She almost ignored it, and it was UPS. And she's like, oh, wait, I see a UPS truck. I went, go down the stairs and go get my, what the? Oh, man, what in the world is going on right now?
And this is so extra. Of course, on Mischief Night, we're going to have a whole bunch of dumb stuff happen.
But it's okay, because I'm not afraid of the dark anyway, so it's whatever.
We black, we born in the darkness. What it is.
Yeah, exactly. But anywho, yeah, so I got all of my stuff, and I'm ready to go. I'm excited. Got to try it. Who didn't pay the light bill?
Exactly. Y'all cutting up. So J1Con is this weekend. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. The prom is free. You don't need a ticket to get into that. Mm-hmm. That's 8 to 11. You can come in your cosplay finery. Kurt made it a requirement that we mention the twerk contest. So there's that. I'm going to be up there twerking and showing off for everybody. So I suggest you guys come on down and see the Showboat Hotel in Atlantic City, right?
Yeah, Showboat. And I am looking forward to it too because I think I'm going to try my hand at it and participate. It's not going to be the best thing you ever seen, but I tried. I get an A for effort.
For real, though.
And don't laugh at me. I know you're probably like, I'm not making no promises. We'll see what happens when you get there.
I'm just saying, we gonna be out there. You're gonna be feeling the music. It's whatever.
Yeah,
it's whatever.
Yeah, you think so? I hope so, for my sake.
So, let's get into hot topics, though. So there's gonna be a new Sailor Moon movie coming in 2020. Oh. I am dumb excited.
Wait, before I get excited though, is it in this new Crystal Sailor Moon style or is it in the old one? Because I want nothing to do with Crystal. So, I'm not doing it.
The artwork looked kind of updated, so I don't know if that means it's going to be Crystal
I hate
style.
Crystal style. It's so weird. It's like, why? They tried to reach into how in the manga back in the day, how they had those super sharp chiseled chins and stuff like that. And I mean, in the manga it worked because it was black and white and I could get over it, but with it in color and it looking that way and it's kind of too because of the tablets and all. I'm just being a grouchy old woman, don't mind me.
I was gonna say, we've had this conversation before about the anime art styles and how I personally don't like to look at it after a while either, and I'm not big into anime.
It's not warm anymore. It's not that warm. loving, like somebody compassionately took time to
Put
and effort
pen
in
to
each
paper.
pencil stroke that they made. Yeah, there's none of that going on anymore, and it makes me sad. But it's whatever.
But Sailor Moon fans can rejoice. We're getting the first new content in like 15, 20 years.
Yeah,
so.
so what? Oh, but come on, Pico, stop playing games with me like that.
Ain't this your dad's place? Like, tell him to get it.
Don't blame that on me. But apparently, maybe it's somebody in the power room or something screwing around.
Yes. So about how for those of you who tuned in last week, we had that dinosaur drilling noise.
Oh yeah, maybe it might be the dinosaurs again down there doing whatever it is that they do. They in the uproar today. They want some candy.
Oh, that's what it is?
Yeah.
Maybe we can appease them with one of our lovely cupcakes.
Yeah, maybe that'll work. So we gotta send Kurt down there with some cupcakes later and some.
Oh yes. Speaking of Kurt.
Yo,
Garçon.
yeah, Garçon, come on.
Can you? I like
Jeeves.
my water open, please. Oh, really? No, leave the wine for our guest Garçon.
He's the worst. So we're fine. We're about to fire you.
Can I get a napkin for the water you spilled?
Well, I would on second thought, I don't want him opening my water because if he did all of that, and then he throwing paper towels. I'm about to call.
I'm never coming back to this restaurant again.
Yeah, me neither.
You better not cut up
Kennedy.
when our guests get here. You know how.
Where Kennedy at? I need a whistle.
Oh, yeah. We gotta do our
The Kennedy
weekend
whistle.
Yes.
It'd be like the Batman signal, but for Kennedy. And you just blow it, and she like pops up with her arms folded.
That's
like,
what you should have had for Mischief Night. Just had Kennedy pop up. She'll get y'all in line.
Snap, snap, snap. I can't snap though, so there's that. But moving
on. So there's gonna be there's a Barney movie in the works.
What?
Yes. So Daniel Kaluuya, who's the guy who was in Get Out, he is helping bring Barney to the big screen.
Again, because they had a Barney movie. I will never forget that movie.
All I remember are the direct to VHS.
What? You don't remember the Barney movie when it was like 3 little kids, 2 girls and a brother, and they went on like a trip of a family vacation, and he like came alive in the bathtub. He was a stuffed animal.
So fun fact, I had a nightmare about Barney when I was like 5 years old, and I whole ass stopped watching it.
I love Barney.
It was like a weird T-1000 like silver Barney. He chased me with like a butter knife. I was 5, so that was
Future
scary.
Barney.
Yo, I was 5, so that was really scary, and I stopped watching Barney after that.
I'm gonna laugh at that for the rest of the night. You said it. T5 Barney. Like,
I mean, to be honest, my family has made fun of me like my whole life for it, and I'm just like, wow, just mock my traumas, I guess.
Like we remember that one time when you were scared of that Barney. We all have something.
First of all, I was 5, and Barney coming at you with a knife back when I thought that all knives were sharp. That is scary.
Who are you?
So, I'm not excited about the Barney movie, but you guys can be. Oh my god. So Dwayne Johnson confirms that the Black Adam movie is a go for 2020. So Black Adam, if you know, he's from like Shazam in the DC universe.
Oh yeah. I think I remember.
Yeah, so they have like an after credit scene or something like that where they cut to like his empty chair at the end of the Shazam movie, and it's supposed to like be like a really good setup for that. So a lot of people were kind of like iffy about it, and then The Rock stayed booked and busy, so it was like is it actually gonna happen kind of thing, because like that's happened with other stuff, like actors commit to a character or a movie and then it never get made because they're too busy.
Oh yeah, well they better flamp some more money in there, and I bet he become unbusy then. But hopefully they do that.
Well, he says it's a go for right. So he says it's a go for 2020. So I guess they're gonna go into pre-production and all that soon. So
I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'll be more excited when we get a release date.
Yeah, well you're right.
And in the meantime, I'll be seeing Jungle Cruise.
Oh God,
Love The Rock. Whatever, I love The Rock, and I can take my kid to go see it.
Fair enough. I don't have kids.
Amazon series The Boys cast comedian Patton Oswalt in a secret role. So I don't know if you know who Patton Oswalt is. He's like a really like kind of famous comedian. He writes for a lot of like TV shows and stuff. Okay. And he's a huge nerd. Like he's a big like comic fanboy. So I was really excited about this. And like I said, I love Patton Oswalt. I think he's hysterical. His wife died a few years ago, and I kind of hadn't really heard anything from him. So I know he got remarried and everything, and I'm glad to see him like coming out and like doing more stuff.
Oh yeah, that's great. That's really great.
So, moving right along, rumor there's going to be a TV reboot of Clueless starring the black friend Dion.
Oh.
Hard pass.
What, you don't want to see that?
No, that's Stacey Dash, girl.
Oh, that's who okay, that's who it was. Fun fact, Sassy's never seen Clueless. That's just another one of those movies on the list of things I didn't see when it existed. I didn't really care about teen
It's like
movies,
a 90s,
so.
It's like a 90s kind of like coming of age. Like, it's one of those things you watch when you were little.
Yeah, well, okay. Yeah, if it's Stacey Dash related, then I'm a pass on
so
that.
they said it's gonna be a reboot, so I don't know if she's gonna be involved.
Wait, she not black no more, right? I thought we traded her. She got traded in for somebody else. Like that we gave a black card to, I thought.
So, wait, who did we give the black card to then?
I don't remember who exactly it was that we traded her for, but she was traded. So she's no longer allowed to have that titleship anymore.
Oh my God.
She's just a woman. That's it.
Look, I'm ready to trade Kanye West in, so.
Oh, no, you can't trade Kanye. Kanye
Bye.
got that new,
Bye.
He got that new fire
Bye.
gospel album.
I heard it was trash, so you the first person to say it wasn't.
What? So what people been saying? I liked it there.
A couple of people on my news feed said it was trash. These are people who really like hip hop, so I trust their opinion. And then also, come on with this.
The lights again. I'm sorry, dinosaur gods, that we have upset you.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
No, now the mic is all in my face.
Hell yeah.
Is that now really? All right, y'all play too much. Any hoodles.
That's probably just being a butthole.
Oh yeah, Kurt being a butthole because he don't want us to
so
boss
he can
him around.
flam his way out of here without us noticing him.
Exactly. Oh, is that you, Kurt? You trying to sneak out of here? You trying to sneak out of your duties?
Well. Alrighty then, and next on our list.
So Venom 2, the sequel now. I don't know if you saw the Venom movie. I really liked it. Venom 2 won't just have one villain. Naomi Harris, she's going to be in that new Black and Blue movie.
Yeah.
She is in talks to play Shriek. So get it, Queen. I love her. I think she's been like nominated for like an Oscar or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that too.
Speaking of sequels, there's gonna be a Hocus Pocus 2. The Sanderson sisters are back, baby.
Oh. Yeah, what? No, Hocus Pocus 2. I didn't even know they were doing it too. There's so many years since the first one even came out.
I mean, but that fits though. They were like in the ground for like 100 years in the first one, so that works for me.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure people are ready for it. They like that movie.
I am. Bring it. More women power and more fierceness for Halloween.
And now, I believe we have a trailer, if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, so trailer for Countdown. Do we have it, Don? Are we ready?
Bum.
Yes.
Bum. We ready. Come on. Chugga the choo-choo.
What if an app could tell you how long before you die? Our phones have become essential. Apps keep track of our schedules, our fitness, our love lives. But what if an app could tell you how long
I got 63 years.
57 years.
before you die? Would you want to know?
What? 2 days?
This app, it's fake, obviously.
My girlfriend said the same thing. It knew. That app said she was gonna die.
Whatever's happening to us, I think it's because of this app. I need a new phone. A new phone, new number, new service.
Anything else I can help you with?
No.
The countdown app, it's really just a random number with a clock. It's not that scary, but it seems like it worked on YouTube clowns.
This must be everyone that downloaded the app.
My sister, she downloaded it.
All we need to do is beat the clock by 1 second.
Have you ever done anything like this before?
No, but I've read about it. A lot. What if this doesn't work? A fate much worse than death will pursue you.
Come with me.
It will overwhelm you until you are utterly destroyed.
Wake up.
Yo, are you calling my name?
Hey guys, so we're back. That was Countdown, your newest teen slasher dumb flick. It's an app. It's an app that you download that lets you know when you're gonna die, but then the time randomly changes, and all of a sudden there are demons to kill you just cause.
I feel like we're always
When in
almost
doubt,
dying,
demons,
so
yeah.
that seems right.
So, if you guys don't know who our guests are, we actually met back in August at the Women's Podcast Festival.
Yes.
These are the Ghouls Next Door. They run a very, very fabulous horror podcast. Ladies, introduce yourselves.
Yeah. I'm Gabe, and yeah.
I'm Kat.
Yeah, and we're a horror edutainment podcast where we educate and analyze media specifically in the horror genre.
So, like what we do, but a little bit more educated and with class.
Yes.
I guess I'm gonna go ahead and wager that there's a lot less dick jokes on your podcast than we have here.
We have mentioned penises before,
Yes.
but it was no.
But we
not
have to
dick
refer to
jokes.
them in the animatonically correct version so that they're not flagged as vulgar language for our other
Yes.
students that we got.
Yeah, yeah, we're on the radio too sometimes, so it's like we have
So
to
you're not
follow
trying to
FCC
have.
guidelines.
Okay.
Yeah. We can't. We tried to call Edgar Allan Poe a dick, and they flagged us. And we're like, but he was though. So we're like, Edgar Allan Poe was a jerk.
Right. Speaking of dick, garçon. I would like to get our plates and napkins. Can you serve us our cupcakes for our guests? It's in the cabinet, sir.
I don't like it.
God, why we gotta tell you how to
smile,
do
sir?
that? Come on.
This is not service with a smile.
Right.
I gotta call the company that we ordered him from.
I know. We gonna have to trade him in and get like a newer model or something.
Yeah.
Maybe get one that walk around with his shirt off or something.
I want my money back.
Why you bring this? Ain't nobody asked you for all this. I asked you for plates. You
You
gonna act up in front of our guests? Acting crazy.
See,
Really?
I told you I'm about
Really?
to report him to the company.
I know. Like, what
I did not
is
pay for
this?
this.
This is not what we paid for, though. Like,
Thank you.
honestly.
I'll pass this one.
Wow.
We got it.
Anyway, I I'm really sorry. The service is not usually this poor.
Well, it is Philly.
This
so
worse
it's
than
fine.
IHOP.
It's allowed.
I would say this way worse than IHOP. The one on the boulevard be popping at least. I go there every weekend with my son.
We're not even sitting outside.
Yeah, you can't ignore us.
So
when we're
I want you
outside.
guys to take a napkin because we're gonna move right along to our mid-card topic.
Got
It is in this vein of Halloween and then also feminine stuff because we are ladies and we're gonna talk about vagina if we feel like it. Dating horror stories.
Yeah.
So I'm sure as ladies, single young people, that you have gone on dates and dated, and sometimes it has sucked and been sometimes it has been downright awful. So I would like for you to start us off with your dating horror stories.
Yeah. I mean, I definitely have had some, but they're not like fun stories.
Well, let's see. I think I'm gonna start this off because I have a lot of dates because I have a lot of people who are in my inbox all the time, and then periodically I'm just like, let's see what happens with this. What the? Again.
Sorry, I really thought they would have figured this out by now. You stupid light situation.
And then the lights.
I know Kurt being on his worst
Did we pay
behavior,
Pico?
and then the lights.
Yeah, did
This
we pay
is like
Pico?
so
That's
janky.
It's again.
I'm an unhappy.
Kurt, did you pay the rent?
I didn't think that was possible, but
Anyway, so Sassy, continue on your story.
anywho, let's see. What was the worst one? There are so many plethoras of things that have went wrong, and I'm just like, why? Who did it? And where?
So you don't have to pick the worst
Yeah,
one, just one that was
yeah,
particularly
one you
bad.
Well, one that I remember, and oh my God, it had to be reoccurring also. So the one that I remember is this one time that there was somebody who had wanted to go on a date. They had actually went to school with me, so it was weird because it was like my ex-boyfriend's like best friend or whatever, and we were on the same dating site for whatever reason, and it was just like, okay. And that's not the first time, because I run into a couple of people from high school on the dating sites, and it's just like, okay, why the heck? But either which way, so we go on this date, and I'm like, after a while, once we met up face to face, I'm like, I don't think this is gonna be the fit for me. But you know what? I rolled through with it anyway. And I figured I'm just gonna do what I feel like doing because I don't really care about making a good impression at this point. And I was hoping that kind of like strung him away from me, from him watching me eat like a savage and order the biggest steak possible and just like blah, 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 blah. But it didn't. So he was just like, oh yeah, I love a woman that can eat. And I'm just like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's
okay,
like the premise
so
of White Girls.
Yeah.
White chicks.
Exactly. And I'm just like, okay, so that's not going to work evidently because he's into that. We walk around, we talk, and then things got interesting.
Oh, interesting how?
Interesting in the way that you think I mean. But, and there's no shame in my game, ladies. I know there is some kind of thing going around or a stigma about how we're just supposed to like hold on to everything until the last minute. But I mean, sometimes I just don't feel like doing that. But either which way,
you better get in where you fit
on blast because I'm sassy. Anyway, we get there afterwards or whatever. I'm just like, oh my God, why? I go home and I never think about this again, and I slowly but surely drift off. But then I run into him again at a concert. So it's just like, all right, now what? And then he's just like, oh, I haven't heard from you since the last time. Why not? And I had to end up telling this dude this. And it's just like, oh my God. And then he's just like, can I get another chance to redeem myself? And I'm like, no.
So was it also bad? Were the extracurriculars also bad?
And I know I'm not giving a second chance to that. I already know why and how. I don't
You
like
did all of
this.
it. There's nothing left.
There's nothing for you to show me at this point. So, like,
That was your last
So
card.
that,
And if
yeah.
that didn't work, then
No,
you got
and
a card.
I will say I've had that happen where I'll be like, all right, break them a little piece off and see what it is, and it'd be bad, and they'd be like, oh, well, you need to let me redeem myself. No, sir, this is my poussoir, and I don't have to let you back in here if I don't want to. I'm sorry, you had your interview is over. I'm gonna need you to exit the building, fam. You bombed. Goodbye.
You said the interview was over.
That's what it is. It's
You're not
an interview
accepted
for
for
a
this
job, and
position.
if you're not ready for all of that, you don't get a call back.
Exactly.
So, you guys ready with your story?
Story. Yeah, so I was really bad at internet dating. Only because I assume that everyone is a serial killer. Like, I just
Fair
profile
enough.
that. And I'm super, like, I think, like, every little, like, cliche thing on their profile, I'm like, well, this means he's, like, wants to kill me in the woods. This one is,
He likes the outdoors.
you know, like, this guy has a lot of money, so he could kill me and cover it up. Like,
Oh my God.
You know, like,
These are all valid points.
I was about to say, you're not wrong.
Yeah, so I would I could never get to it was like, I think I went on like maybe 2 dates from the internet and both of them were trash. But there was one time I had like swiped someone and we had been talking, and at some point I guess he found out where I worked. And so I have like at my job you can become a member and you can like orient yourself, and I teach the orientation, and so I was like in there, and then he sat like where he would be really close, and then in the middle of the break when I'm like, all right, everyone, like, do your thing, he was just like, hey, so we talked online, and I was just like, okay, so first off,
wow, you just
missed
show
the
up
gig
at
where
my
you're,
job.
yeah, you're supposed to pretend like we do not know each other.
Like, what is the correct response?
It was just like so weird. It was just like, you might not remember me, but I was like, okay, well then we're already off to a bad start. And I was just like, that's enough of that.
Number one, if
Deleted
I
that
don't
app.
remember you, that's a problem.
Yeah, and he was there, and I kept being like, "Who is this guy?" Like, he kind of looked familiar, but I couldn't like put my finger on it. And then he was just like, "We met on the internet." I was like, "No, canceled. I'm sorry." It's like the equivalent of knowing where I live. I spend a lot of time here. There's no way.
Yeah, I don't even like let people like come to my house. Like, oh, I'll pick you up. No, you won't.
No,
I
meet
drive.
in a public location.
Exactly,
where
I
there's
drive.
other
I can
humans.
get an Uber. You're not allowed to know where I live.
Yeah.
Oh man, I feel like I'm sitting here thinking, rethinking my life, and being like, well, Sassy, if you made some questionable decisions, I don't know. I'm kind of a risk taker. I can be a little bold sometimes, and I don't always. I kind of have this ideal of if it's gonna happen, then it's just gonna
You
happen.
like if I'm about to be murdered, who am I to come and like get in the way
they're gonna
of
have to
fate?
earn that
Test
murder.
fate, yeah.
No, they're gonna earn that murder. Like, I'm not going down. I'm not gonna.
You're
be
not
like,
just
"Oh,
gonna murder me.
Take it, whatever. I hate
Or
liars."
maybe it might backfire and I might murder them. So
Hey.
who knows? I mean, we yokai.
Exactly,
Forget about this
exactly.
sometimes. And I have teeth. They are sharp. I don't bite all the time, but when I do, watch out.
Yeah, what about you?
Yeah. So I live with Gabe and I'm best friends with Gabe, but I do not share Gabe's sense of common sense or fear. I should.
I was like,
I have
it would
done
have
some
rubbed
just
off a little bit.
real ridiculously not smart decision making under the influence of alcohol, because as a Gemini I have 2 versions of my personality. There's one version when I have had alcohol, and there's one where there's me now, which is calm.
I'm gonna
but
say,
yeah.
as an Aquarius, I'm very fluid. There are several versions of me. So.
Yeah. So like me plus alcohol, I've been told I am a very fun time by
You're a
friends.
lot.
I'm a lot. I'm a lot. So I don't always make the best choices. So a lot of my bad date stories spawn from that, because there's like a time of space where you should be like, I really think I should leave. And I don't reach that point.
No. There's
So
like
I'm
red
like,
flag, red flag, red flag, and you're like, ooh, red.
I don't even know if that's what
This is
it is.
entertaining.
Right, you like,
Yes.
what is this flag
It
made
was
of? I like this
honestly-
fabric.
Let's see where this
Yeah.
goes.
Basically. So there would be like a few times where I would just go on dates and make questionable life choices
Yeah.
by letting them walk me to my house, and then they did real weird stuff, and I was like, I'm never talking to you again, but also you know where I live. So that was a bad idea.
I don't even let certain Uber drivers know where I live. I'll get out like a block.
So I want Kurt to.
Oh wow, really?
Very paranoid.
I never thought about that before.
I'm a super paranoid person.
I want you guys to enjoy.
Thank you. We're gonna let out the other side of Cat.
I mean,
ain't ready.
It's not that strong.
Yeah, no, let the party begin. She has 3 glasses.
No, but yeah, so basically it was like
down fast.
people I don't want to hang out with for longer end up hanging out for longer.
Yeah.
I'm just kind of like, I guess.
So many people
And then
I've
here we are.
met because-
Extracurriculars may or may not happen. I'm not thrilled about it, but it happened. Whatever, we're here.
Yeah.
Those are
It's
most
like,
of my
I'm
bad
here.
dates. I was like, I guess. I feel bad.
Thank you.
I have the wine.
I have nothing else to do on this Saturday.
It's very pretty.
I don't
Nothing else to
usually
do on
like
this
wine.
Saturday.
You know what? You got my nerve.
Oh, is this on mine?
Yes.
Excellent.
He don't know because he
Give
did
it
it
to me,
last
because I
time.
still drink it. I don't care if you put your mouth on
I'm gonna
it.
say it's got alcohol in it. It'll kill the germs.
Yeah. Yeah, give us the drinks.
Exactly. Yes, so those are you guys is to have. And
Thanks, they're so cute.
yes, because when
Luckily,
the
we
ladies
have
are in charge, we treat our guests right. So, and then also feel free to partake of a cupcake.
In the cute
Yes,
cupcakes.
And they turn into rings afterwards, the little toppers.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Halloween bling.
Yeah, I got
Also.
vanilla and chocolate because.
I want a little ghost friend.
Oh, come
How am I
on!
supposed to enjoy my wine in the dark?
I mean, I frequently enjoy my wine in the dark, so.
I don't know if this is like
That's a
the
good point.
sugar ghost.
So you said
that's
you wanted
like,
a ghost?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I do kinda
He's
want a
chocolate.
ghost.
Is that okay?
Because he's
100%.
a ghoul, so he's like us.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's a ghoul that's.
Alright. And Gabe, which one did you want?
I also wanted a ghost.
Okay, that's fine.
We're way
We're
too
Ghoul
alike
Scouts,
each other.
so
Well, as you can see, I think we might be haunted. So I'm glad you guys
Right.
are here.
I don't
So
know,
maybe,
guide us
maybe if
through
you
it.
eat the ghost cupcakes, the lights will
ghost
stop
lights.
flashing. So I have, since I'm probably the oldest person here today, well, the oldest person on the show, I have several really bad dating stories, and they range from like kind of funny to also really weird. So one time this guy like practically demanded I show him my feet in the middle of Rittenhouse Square.
Oh, wow. He's just like, take the shoe off. Take the shoe off and pull out your foot right now.
I don't have feet. I'm sorry. These are hoods
like, what do
only.
you mean?
So it was at the end of what was also already a really awkward date where I was trying to ditch him. We met at like one place and then he didn't drive and I was like, I'm not sure I want to date somebody who doesn't drive because I have a car.
That's interesting. I can't say these things because I don't drive.
I'm just saying he already had a strike against him is what I'm saying.
Strike one.
So then when we were talking on the interwebs, because we met on Black People Meet of all places, yeah, I had to stop going there after a while. So we met on Black People Meet, and he talked about how he was so much fun, and he was like super lively, and he got up to all these really fun activities, and then we got to
Those
a
are all
bar.
flags. You can't. Don't identify yourself like that. That's scary.
This was I was still like in my I was still in my 20s, so I was like I didn't know that, and it was my first time online dating because before I just met people like at school or at work, and then I was like, this is not working out. Got to change tactics.
I know this person too much.
Right. They know where I live and where I work, and that's a problem. Because now I don't want to see you anymore, but I still have to.
Oh,
Right. So he told me how fun he was and how he was such a live wire, like pecan. And I was like, and I was like, but also like.
This is the one
he
who
do
asked you to
this?
see your feet. Did
Yes.
you do that as he?
So he
but he might as well as
Yo, that would have made it funny instead of just awkward.
Yeah, like he was that card, the thing, the red card from Cars. I forgot Lightning McQueen when he was like, "Cha-chow."
Oh yeah, ka-chow.
That's what it was.
No, so we're.
It's a situation.
Oh my god. So we're going to a bar downtown, and again, he's talked himself up like he's so much fun and he's super exciting. So I'm talking to him, he's like, so yeah, I'm just really cool and I love to go out.
Who are you trying to convince?
And I'm just like, oh,
so weird.
yo, and I was just like, is this you having fun? Where's the fun you at? Like, do I unlock him at a certain level? Do I not have enough badges to train you, Pokemon, sir? Like, you like bad Datamon? Like, what the hell is that?
Did you just say bad Datamon?
Like, it was like some weird, like awkward, like standoffish, like cat. Where he was like, I want you to pet me, but I'm not gonna act interested. Like, and I was like, I'm not playing this game. But I did, because I didn't leave. And we get to the bar, and the people around us high-fiving, dancing, doing all sorts of stuff. And I'm like, and he's just like, so what do you do? Oh, that's cool. Why don't you get up and do something? And I was like, you the one who said you was a whole bunch of fun. Nigga, you get up and do something. And he was like, oh, well, when I get in my element and I get in my zone. And I was like,
where's that?
Exactly. Do you need me to pull your zone up on the GPS, sir?
Yeah,
Does
with
the
your not car?
Exactly. Does SEPTA go by your zone this time of night? Like, what is this? So I'm like, oh, well, I got to get up early for work, and I think I really should be going. Oh, well, let me walk you to your bus. No, that's okay. Oh, well, we're going the same direction. No, that's okay. So then we end up walking to Rittenhouse, and then he's one of those guys who starts making all these weird demands of, like, women he's only just met. Yeah, I like my girls with, like, shaved vagina, and it's got to be shaved, otherwise I'm not going to go down on you. And I was like, you probably give bad head anyway. Right, I'm like, you probably give bad head.
Date comment?
Just like,
hi.
How do you even so my favorite color is blue, and then also this is the exact specifications that I need for a woman.
It
maybe
can't be any longer than this long.
I think you're maybe banned from vaginas now.
Right.
And
also,
I want you to give them head.
Right.
So go home.
Exactly. So I have a wig on now, and my hair is natural, and I just went natural then.
That comment he made.
Yes. So I just went natural then, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't really like natural hair, but on the date I had my hair in a twist. So yeah, I like to have my girls with their hair done and their nails did." And I was like, "That's funny because I don't have my nails did now." And I said, "In the wintertime, these braids they come out, fam. I'm Angela Davis, Black Power all day with this afro."
Did he see you before he met you, or was that his first time seeing you?
That was his first. That was our first time meeting. We'd been talking online for like a couple of hours.
But he didn't. Okay, so he didn't get to the picture part.
No, and when I first went natural, I wore braids and twists all the time to let my hair grow because I was insecure about wearing it out in the afro. I had only just started wearing it out, but when we went on the date, it had got cold again, so it was twisted back up. So and he was like, "Yeah, I don't really like that natural hair. My girls need to wear weaves or braids." And I was like, "Well, these braids come out in this." And Angela Davis gonna be here in the summer, so I don't know what to tell you. And then he was like, "Yeah, so I like pretty nails and pretty feet," and I was not paying attention, and I was like, "Yeah, well, people say my feet are really pretty." And he's like, "Oh, you got pretty feet, girl. No, you got pretty feet." I really did. He was like, "You got pretty feet? Oh, you need to prove that to me. Let me see your feet." And I was like, "It's like 50."
You never said anything about your vagina.
I disliked you 20 minutes ago, sir.
Right. I was like, I've been trying to get out of this date for like 35 minutes, fam. And I was like, that's really awkward to be showing you my feet at 9 o'clock at night in Rittenhouse Square, where there's still people out. And I had on like knee-high boots, and I was like, "You're asking a lot for me to like take my shoes off."
Yeah.
And he's like,
I'm not trying to impress you.
Right.
We have stopped that.
Exactly. He was like, "Well, you said your feet was pretty," and I said, "And you said you was a lot of fun."
Lies.
He was like, "Oh, you not having fun?" And I was like, "Not the way I thought I'd be having fun, sir."
Also, at what point in this did you think I was having fun? Are you not aware?
It was
your surroundings?
No, he very clearly is.
So it's weird. No, so I have like bitch face where if I'm not smiling, people think I'm really mad. And I didn't want him to know that I was really mad, so it was kind of like that, "I'm having so much fun, but I really want to leave" face. Yeah. And he just didn't get it. He was like, "Oh, you look like you're having fun." And I was like,
"That's why he thinks he's a fun guy."
Yeah.
Because all these women have been doing that.
I just, no. And then there's the one guy who like sniffled the whole date.
Yeah. Is he had a cold?
Yo, it was raining and we went out for coffee because I wanted to do something different.
Yeah, well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. The worst dates of the bomb of spooky hashtag
It's hard being a lady.
I mean,
I'm still looking for my words. I think that the
Yeah.
line is starting to sink in.
I mean, I'm sure there
You
are other.
definitely won. I don't know if you wanted to win, but you won.
You did.
Yeah, you won.
I didn't mean
But
for
you
it to be
do
a contest.
have pretty feet, though. By the way, I've seen them before. I thought they looked nice.
Yeah,
They
just
were
so you know.
Yeah,
We don't know,
perfectly.
and I'm not going to demand it, but
I
happens.
mean, I could show you when we go to break if you want. But I mean, no, if you ask, because you're not demanding it of me in the middle of the night when there are strangers around in public.
Well, ladies, let's find out some more things about you. So, what actually inspired for you guys to make your podcast?
Make our podcast. Yeah. So I have always loved podcasts.
And I didn't.
No.
But I was there while Gabe loved podcasts and enjoyed the ones she listened to.
Yeah, because I would play them on speaker and then she would hear them and just be like, oh, that's funny. I'm not going to listen to this on my own time, but I'm glad you subjected me to it.
Yeah.
And so then
I'm
I was
like that with my mom.
yeah, try
Oh,
this
this
new
is
thing.
fun.
And then I was like, it's fun. I think this would be a good hobby, but what am I going to do? I want to have a co-host and talk about something I'm passionate about. And then I was like, Kat, we love horror movies.
Yeah.
And that's something we bonded over. And we are both knowledgeable in two different areas. And I was like, oh, we can dissect stuff. Because I do media, because I do work in television and stuff. And then Kat does historical stuff.
Yeah, I got a fun, very expensive degree in history and anthropology. So the combination of the two, if we're looking at why history is scary, because it is.
It's terrible.
Just the reality of the world is horrific enough as it is if we're not even talking about the media. But it also really influences the media. So talking about what culturally, societally, etc. that influences why films are made the way that they are, why media is made the way that it is, or even it's consumed the way that it is.
Yeah.
And if you don't mind, for the people at home who might have public school education like me, what is anthropology?
So it's the study of people, the existence of humans, and how we came to be, the way we develop culturally.
Evolution. I would say it's the evolution of culture over time. Yeah.
In different areas and what their norms are and why and how they got from A to B and stuff.
Yeah, I have a friend who studies culture, that's her jam. So she gives me all the stuff, and she's like, "No, this is really cool." And I'm like, "As long as you don't try and tell me about my culture, I'm fine."
Yeah, there's so many layers to it. So I also did history, which is a little easier to dissect in that it's written by who wanted it to be written by, who won, whoever, But you can usually find some somewhat objective sources if you look hard. Yeah.
Well, another question I have for you ladies. What is your favorite scary movie?
Yeah, well, that's a good one. We get that.
I don't get that a lot.
I feel like you get that question a lot. You should be like, "It's this," and let's move on.
I do feel like we should have. We don't have a very specific one, I would say, because we really just enjoy the genre. Yeah. So there's a lot of them, but I would say in our top 5.
Yeah, if you had to pick the top,
we have,
top 5.
I would say 2 that always come to mind would be It Follows and Get Out. Those are our top ones.
It Follows. I keep meaning to watch it, but I'm also kind of a chicken and I don't want to watch it by myself.
Do you like suspense?
I do.
Okay, so it's basically just a lot of suspense.
So it's not a lot of jump scares or gore.
It's long, slow burn
No,
scares.
it's just stress.
Okay.
Yeah, it's just stress the
very
whole
stressful.
time.
It's like Get Out. Where I just
yeah.
felt
It's more
uncomfortable
psychological.
and stressed out the whole time.
Yes. Yeah.
Like the Big
that I
Bad
can
is
do.
not overtly scary. It's just the person you knew and loved is now trying to kill you. Unfortunate. And it's just very stressful. Yeah.
Also that, and when we at the Women's Podcast Festival, you talked about how children are terrifying.
Sure
and
are.
I would say, and as the mother of one, I'm always like, oh. Yeah, I would definitely follow my child into a haunted building where I normally would not go on my own.
Yeah.
But other people's children, Fuck y'all.
Yeah, that's definitely where I'm going with that. That is not my child. I have nothing to do with you.
I'll call the
can't.
police.
I work with kids, so I can't. I gotta follow that kid. It's my legal obligation.
Oh, well, yeah, you know what? Yeah, you might not.
No
have
matter
a
what,
job
I
if
die.
you don't
Oh,
follow
well,
them.
yeah.
They're gonna be like when you come back and you're like, we just escaped this and all of this crazy stuff. But where is that child? You
Where's
left
Timmy?
with
I'm
10
in jail
and
now.
you only came back with 5. Where are the other 5?
I'd be like, look, whatever
There's no
happened,
forgiveness and
happened.
supervision.
I couldn't hold on. I'd be
They
like, I only
were
got
evil.
2 hands.
Nah, there's no forgiveness and supervision laws.
Yeah,
Fortunately and unfortunately in this specific scenario.
I got 2 hands. One is on my child. The other is on the doorknob handle. Anybody else can get wrecked.
Yeah, there is. I don't want
You
to say
better
them
keep
sometimes either. Like that 8, 9-year-old, I think, or 8 or 7-year-old that I had talked to earlier. I'm leaving out my job. He sees me with my attire that I have on now, and he's just like, and I didn't even. My horns and teeth weren't out as of yet because I don't want to frighten people. However, he's just like, oh, like, have a good evening. And he's just like, are you wearing that for Halloween? And then looks at me and I'm just like, no. And then I leave. And I wanted to say more than that, but I just kept that part to myself because I'm trying to be a good adult and not stoop down to their level because it's bad enough they already think I'm on their level, which is probably why they try me so much. But either which way, I could do without them.
No, even grown adults are do that. We were in the store trying to get some last minute things for a party, and some guy tried to ask if we were sex workers because of our costumes, because we were in this.
Yeah, they're like, are you dressed up for Halloween or? And we're like, sir.
Yeah, we stopped. We're like,
old man in
or?
store, please finish that sentence. Or,
and he's like,
and he would not answer.
You could be in Halloween costumes, or you could be, and we're like, we could be.
What is the thing you're gonna
Or
say?
you could, because this is not a one-stop shop, sir.
Also, like, it's not like if you guessed right, you get a reward.
Yeah, like, what are we gonna be like? Oh,
I'm not gonna pull up.
Oh, you figured it out.
Yeah. First one's on us, guys.
So, pro tip, gentlemen, if you feel like that you have to hesitate on what it is that you have to say, then you probably shouldn't say it.
I get that a lot though, because when I tell people that I pole dance, they're like, "Oh, is that like for exercise, or are you trying to be I'm trying to be what? Oh well, you know where no, I don't know. What are you talking about? Educate me, sir.
Please. If you can't say the word out loud without freaking out, you probably shouldn't be saying.
Are
the
you
word.
going to be a stripper? Bitch, I might be.
If my pockets get tight enough.
Strippers make money.
Yeah. I don't think I
and
can do
I
that,
got
though.
bills.
I might injure somebody.
Yeah,
Then put an eye out.
I mean, whatever.
Just come by and be like,
if you come into my pole show, you gotta sign a waiver anyway.
There's waivers?
No, at my Halloween showcase, I like grabbed some guy's face and like stuck it in my boobs. People were like, "Did you know him?" And I was like, "No."
That's what I was here for.
Right. Exactly. I said, but now he has a night he'll never remember.
Never?
Yes.
Was there something in his drink?
Don't play me like that. I would leave such trash baggy comments up to Kurt. Sassy, I would never expect such debauchery from a fine young lady.
I have horns and teeth. I'm a demon. What do I have to do these things periodically? Or else what would I be? I'd be bringing dishonor upon all of my ancestors before me.
I mean, I say that, but I'm also a hefty glad bag. I see a man in gray sweatpants. I'm like, where's your eggplant print, sir?
Oh, you're talking about me.
I'm not much better. I'm really not. I'm just like, why you come up and talk to me? Tell me something. Ma'am, can I help you? Not with that lack of outline in your pants, you can't.
Well, man, you said with that lack of outline. I think somebody shared a post about that. If I'm not mistaken.
Yes.
Oh, Jesus.
So fun. Our lack of outline in your pants means you have no penis. Anyway, so Sassy, what's your favorite horror movie?
My favorite horror movie. I don't think I can say my favorite either, but I do have like
Is it Japanese?
Favorite. Oh, duh. How could I forget about that movie? The Devil I really appreciated that movie because I like gory things, and they were just wild. Like, they did not care. They didn't care if they almost got caught. They didn't care if somebody might have walked in and interrupted them. They just, like, did what they felt they needed to do and then kept rolling, and it was just, it was gruesome. And I'm all for that. For the gore, the gory parts, that's what makes me happy. And I'm kind of sad right now in this generation because a lot of them, the movies like that, the trailer we did earlier, a lot of them are like PG-13 right now because I think they feel like teenagers are their main basis that like comes to the movies because they want to hang out and stuff like that. So they want them to be able to go and participate and spend their parents' money going. So they have to make it like age appropriate for them. However, why should we care about that so much anyway when half of the stuff that they're like running around out in the streets doing anyway, like they've seen
definitely
it all.
NC-17.
They're inappropriate anyway. But that's
if you like gore, the new Chucky movie has a lot of gore.
Oh, really? I didn't get to see it yet.
Ready or Not as well has some.
Me and Don went to go see the new Child's Play, and it was cool. It was like a really long episode of Black Mirror. With lots more blood.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some like real brutal deaths.
Oh yeah. So I was in there like this, and Don was like, "Move your hands, look at the blood."
Somebody hook me up tomorrow. Jimmy, send me some info so I can watch the movie tomorrow. Yeah, because that's a good way to spend my Halloween. I need to watch that. I'm disappointed in myself because I've been an avid Child's Play fan for like years. I love that movie. When I first seen it, I was like, "What? Yeah. There's a doll walking and talking and killing people."
So no, I was never scared of that. I was like, "Step on it, fam."
Yeah,
it's like being afraid of a child. I will punch you,
just
fam.
Kick them.
All right, I will like knock you wholesale out in here. We'll talk about doll. Oh, come on.
Okay, see, that's not cool. Cause then, what if he comes and nips our ankles?
Bye. You're gonna get a
exactly.
You're gonna get a face full of my heel trying to nip at my ankles.
But you can't see him because it's dark. That's his element. Because he can sneak up on you and just get you, and you would never even know, right?
I know my house. Ain't that much sneak in the world.
So you don't think somebody could sneak up on you without you noticing?
So I don't think he couldn't sneak up on me without nobody having. But what is a doll? 1.5 foot tall? How strong is it really?
The movie indicated it was pretty strong for some reason.
Yeah, so it like
woman could not fight it off.
Right.
And she was a full-grown lady. Yeah. She picked her kid up probably multiple times, but could not get Chucky out.
That's what I'm saying. My kid weighs more than that, and my kid is tiny. Shorty, not even 40 pounds yet. And you gonna tell me that a doll that is half his height and
he's
like
a demon doll.
No, he's a voodoo thing.
Yeah, he was just a serial killer.
But
the new one is it makes
but the
sense.
Because the new one makes even less sense.
No, I think
because
it
it's
makes
actual.
sense.
No, it makes less sense because it's just because it's literally just a doll. Like it's like a little robo thing.
It's like AI. So it's like if Terminator or like robots were coming to kill you.
Yeah.
Which is like where we live currently.
Yeah, but it
will
also
definitely happen in about 50 years. Maybe less.
So that
doomsday of our existence.
And he had control of everything. And it's more of like the idea was that he doesn't have a conscience, right? He doesn't understand right from wrong.
And the cloud. He has the cloud.
So that was the thing that kind of like really made it cool for me is that it was one of those, I kind of like movies where it's like tragic in a way, where it's like, oh, you did this to yourself.
Oh, you mean kind of like that? Oh my goodness!
Where you feel
reminded me of the mirror move, the one with the woman that had the mirror. I can't remember what that.
You talking about
Oculus?
Oculus?
Not her brother. Yes.
Yeah, Oculus.
That was the most ridiculous thing ever, and it irritated me.
But it was a light bulb.
Yeah, because it was like all of this could have been avoided had you just minded your business and moved on in life.
That's every horror movie.
Yes, that's always the key element. Like people not minding their business at the right time.
So I will say my favorite horror movie doesn't necessarily fall into that category. So my new favorite is actually the new It series. I like both of them together, I feel like they make my favorite movie because it tells the complete story, beginning and end. So those are my favorite. I love monsters. I love aliens. I love like creepy like science experiment thingies. So like that's like my jam. I used to do like the ghosts and the demons, and as I got older, I find that I'm more scary. I'm like crossing myself like
You sound like my mom.
Right? No, I'm serious. I don't play them ghosts and demons no
Dude,
more.
I don't know where I just. Oh well, duh. That's why.
But I like monsters, so I like vampires, like werewolves, like those old like monster movies have always been my favorite. I love the more like psychological ones. So that's what I liked about like Get Out and Us, because it really like made you think and it made you like question your own beliefs in a way. So like those movies like that I really like. I don't like movies that are just all jump scares and gore, because I'm like, there's no story here. If y'all have stayed home or put your drawers back on, you'd have been fine.
What about zombies? How do you ladies feel about the zombies?
Yeah, zombies are cool.
Yeah.
I'm not surviving the zombie apocalypse.
Me neither.
No.
I'm a liability. Gabe said she'll murder on my behalf innocent people so that I live on, but I am a liability. I have too much medically wrong with me. There's no way. The second my inhaler goes out, I was like, well, I'm not running anymore, so I don't know what we're going to do.
You're
here.
like, sorry, my wheezing gave our position away.
Yeah, it's literally what it's going to be. It's like, oh, it was my time at post, but I got narcolepsy, so I'm asleep.
We wouldn't put you there.
I'm just saying, you have to hide me in a closet because I'm not surviving.
Also, I would probably leave you in that closet. I'd be like, she sleep, she be alright.
I probably would be. As long as someone comes back.
I'm not.
I don't think she's coming back. Yeah, that's the bad part.
Again, I got one hand on the door, the other hand on my child, and we had this conversation. I might euthanize my own child because he would not do well. My son has autism, and he has a lot of stuff that sets him off, and the attention span of a well-trained circus flea.
Yeah.
So
it would be very tough.
he would get himself killed before anything, and then mommy would get killed because, oh my shit, Hannibal, get back over here. We done fucked the whole game up for everybody. So it would probably be kinder to him to let him go and be with the Lord.
Make sure you count me in on that. I mean, as much as I'm supposed to be like this scary, spooky demon, I'm not fond of watching people eat other people. Like, that's just like
fond of it.
Yeah, no, it's like, what the? This is terrible. I'm not gonna ever get a night's sleep like ever again.
Then you would be a liability because you was tired.
Yeah, I'm always gonna be paranoid and on edge and jumpy. People are gonna touch me, and I'm just gonna be like, don't touch me. Don't get near me. I'm gonna turn into one of those crazy old hobbit ladies.
You're gonna be one of them crying white girls.
And I'm gonna cry all day, every day. Yeah, it's just gonna be like that the whole time.
Leave them alone. We'll leave.
Yeah, just kill me. Like, do me a favor, and if you run into me, just don't even tell me you're about to do it. If you see me and you gotta just be like, pew, and just do me a favor. Like,
sound effects.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's like a fun time to live on beyond whatever apocalypse scenario we have.
Right.
It's like that fun idea where it's like, well, I worked at Walmart before, but now in the new zombie society, I will reign all. And it's not actually how it happens. Zombies are very scary. They're eating all your friends. And you can't rule anyone, they're all dead.
Sorry, Chad, but if you stocked shelves at the grocery store, chances are you're not about to come some great post-apocalyptic hero, fam. But still, how did stocking shelves prepare you for this life?
Oh wait, Chad got the keys. He has the keys to the place of the food that we need.
Bye. I'm not doing it. So, we have another trailer coming up for you guys. This one is Black Christmas, and it's got bitches in it.
This one is good. Yeah, like bitches taking names.
Not really. They're getting kidnapped and stuff, but yeah. Yes.
There's someone in the house.
It's my privilege to teach you this semester. Enjoy your winter breaks and Merry Christmas. What's up, ladies? Excited for tonight?
It is our last day of our last fall semester of college ever.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bells ring and jingle bells ring.
Can you take a photo of all of us?
Of course.
Where's Helena?
She was patting back of sodas earlier, but she looked really good.
Cheese.
We shouldn't have let her go back by herself.
She's fine.
Come on, live a little.
Across the air.
Oh, no, wait.
Helena hasn't gotten home yet.
If I were missing, I'd want you to unleash the bloodhounds and track me down.
She was at DKO last night.
Still creating problems, huh, Rye?
Hello? Hello? I'm worried that something bad happened.
It's winter break. Could just be a delay of some sort. Snow.
My friend is missing.
9 times out of 10, the girl's just with a boyfriend.
I will bring you to your knees. There's someone in the house.
What the? This can't be real.
This school has 200 years of history. Many sacrifices have been made to keep our traditions alive.
You're all insane.
I'm tired of hiding. I'm tired of running. Go, 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 go! Ho, 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 bitch. You messed with the wrong sisters.
Yes. So we are back. Garçon, our glasses are empty.
Oh my god, there's more wine.
There's, yeah, of course.
I thought he drank the last of it, and I was like, okay.
What? No, guys. Like
No
I
more
said,
wine
when
for
the
us.
ladies
No.
are in charge, I make sure to take care of you. I buy 2 bottles and bring plenty of cupcakes. So,
More alcohol. I
More
never finished my first glass, so because I'm
Oh,
a
that's
slow
not-
baby drinker.
We had a whole discussion about
That's why I like shots.
Sassy is the only person I've ever met to sip a shot besides, like, sip it slow on top of that.
Yeah, I can't drink things really fast. That's not my thing.
Yeah, I'm usually not a super.
For multiple reasons. I would like some more, please.
It's a part of the festivities, so we must partake.
Yes.
Otherwise, we would be rude guests.
That's it. That's why I'm doing this.
Manners.
And
I mean, well,
sometimes-
also, like, if you didn't drink, I would have provided other libations for you.
Yeah.
Yes.
It is a school night.
It is.
I have to
Scott
go to
works
work
in a
tomorrow.
school.
I do.
So, I know we were talking, like, while the trailer was playing, but I would also like to go over your least favorite horror movie.
Oh yeah.
For the guests, because I think you pretty much told us.
Yeah. Well, so one are like I would say at least this year, the one that I watched and I was like, oh, this is needs to burn.
It's like the worst thing in the world.
So
maybe.
bad. My review for this film is if you're gonna put maggots in a vagina, it better mean something. So just so you can hop into what this is about, it's called Contracted, and it's trash. It's not even like a good, like it has no logic. Nothing makes sense. Like there's so many leaps and jumps. That I was like, has this director ever met a person, ever met a lesbian, right, or a woman at all ever? Like, or anyone who has like had substance abuse issues, like he trashed everybody.
There was just like, it was a lot of like stereotypes of things, but also poorly done. And then also like, it starts with a rape scene, and then they don't acknowledge, they just say a sexual encounter.
No,
it's like, excuse me, sir. Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
That is not what that was. She was literally saying no. That is the opening of the film, basically.
So we're talking about Midsummer. And you
No,
Contracted.
Midsummer. Contracted.
Wait, what?
Yeah,
Yeah,
we have
Contracted
two
is
favorites.
the worst. We also don't like Midsummer.
Okay.
That's a
Yeah.
whole other story. We have a whole episode on it.
So, and it starts with a rape.
Yes.
That they don't designate. as
No,
a
they
rape.
call it in the info about the film, and then throughout the film, they pretty much make the victim into a villain and say that she cheated on her girlfriend, but it was very clearly a rape. Like, he roofied her, and it's even admitted that he roofied her, and she's still like, it's my fault. But my favorite exchange in this film is that it's a woman who contracts this flesh-eating, she becomes a zombie essentially after this rape, and
She
then
catches an STD from being raped.
Yes,
and it's somehow the bad guy.
Yes, yes, that's why this film
Yep,
is
it's
the
a
least
horrible
favorite
time.
ever to ever
Evil,
exist.
and I don't even like that.
Yeah. Right? But she goes to the doctor to be like, I don't feel well, and the doctor's like, are you sexually active? And do you use protection? And her response is, I'm a lesbian. Because that means
what?
Because that's a logical answer to do you use protection?
If you still have sex.
Because everyone knows lesbians can't get STDs. What are you saying, sir? You're a doctor. So that's if you want to hear me really go in hard and rant about that movie. That's in our
It Follows episode. So it's we have our
favorite,
one of our favorites, and then our literal least favorite. Where it's just offensive. The whole time.
It's in our Romance Gone Wrong series that we did in February. But our other least favorite is from this year is Midsummer. Yeah. Which people really love and rave about. We enjoyed Hereditary, and so we were hype. I got Kat to go on a Sunday night, and I was like, we have to see it.
Yeah,
it's Ari
and
Aster.
then in the first 10 minutes, I was I want to leave.
We were sick.
Because
we were so upset.
one, they just really misuse mental illness, and then also disabilities. So it was just and people of color, they're just killing them off one by one. And it's just the most upsetting movie. And then they kill these two adorable old people, and I just don't like seeing old people die for my own personal
it makes
reasons.
spoilers.
No.
But also,
you know what?
You don't need to
don't
watch.
see it.
Don't watch it. Don't give Ari Aster any more money.
It was just the worst. It was just so upsetting, just for the pure sake of being upsetting.
Yeah,
and
they thought they were being cool by being
and
they thought it would be nuanced.
Yeah,
and it was
but even in the foundations of a horror movie, it's just bad. It's a slasher without any slashing happening on screen, which is what am I watching then, right? And he just marketed it as it's horror, but it's in the daylight, so that's scary. It's we've had that before. You're not innovative, and it was just all these cliches and tropes, and it was just so hyped up from people who were like, did you see this? Did you see it? I was like, yeah, everyone saw it because it's all in your face. Nothing is pretend. There's no allure or mystery in this film. It's all on the nose, and it's all super rude.
Yeah, it's a rude time.
So those are our two least favorite. So we have an entire episode just about
how much
Midsummer, with two guests. We actually had guests talk about both mental illness and disability in horror as part of a representation series. And so we asked them specifically about that movie because we were we need to get some information.
Yeah, are we the only
some
ones
experts
offended?
Right.
Are other people offended?
Yeah, because it
they were.
really felt like it was just us, because there was so much of people being it's the best movie of the year, and we were are we wrong? And then I was no, we're not wrong. We're not wrong.
People generally, it seems when it comes to that kind of thing, have crap taste sometimes.
Yes.
And I have certain select people that I will take their word for it because I know what their takes are. But for the most part, I won't just let anybody, some coworker at work be oh, this movie's really great. Because there's times I've told them about stuff I've seen, and they're like, oh, I didn't like it. And I'm what were you watching? Were you seeing the same movie I was seeing? Because our movie was great. You just don't have taste. That's why you didn't like it. I'm one of those people.
Yeah, no, my favorite thing these days is when Netflix will release a horror movie, but it's foreign, and people will be like, oh my god, it's the scariest film ever, and then we'll go watch it because they're everyone's saying it, and it'll be really bland and dumb, and I was like, is it just because they're not used to foreign horror films that they're ooh, this is different, I'm spooked by it, but it'll always pop up, and I'm I don't trust it anymore. If they say this new foreign horror movie on Netflix is the spookiest, I'm nah, I'm not even gonna waste my time. It's not even worth it.
Yeah,
I guess we're horror snobs now.
Yeah,
we do still get scared, and it is still fun.
What about what would you say is the scariest movie you've ever seen?
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah, I would say so. Generally, what scares me, what still gets me, are found footage horror films.
Really?
Because I can really, like, I enjoy just, like, suspending disbelief and just being like, all right, yeah, we got cameras in the house.
This is real. It said
it was real, and I'm going to believe it today. Like, even though, like, you know it's, but there's something about, like, the voyeurism of it, of, like, I'm watching something I shouldn't, but what always gets me is, like, recordings, like, the audio, like, if I even watch, like, a paranormal investigator show, and they play, like, the room, and then they're like, and then we enhanced or whatever, and then you'll just hear, like, mother die or something. But they do that distorted voice, and my eyes will tear up because it's like this weird frequency where my brain is like, we're upset.
Yeah.
So I'll be like, am I scared right now?
So that
I'll just be like,
you too.
Yeah, it's like an evolutionary thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But anytime, like, it's like, what is it, The Fourth Kind, which is arguably not great horror film, but it's about alien abductions, but that one got me.
Yeah.
They did like her screaming, and they did the parallel, and it's very fake, but they did like the actual footage and then the remake footage, and I was just like, this girl is up in the air and she's screaming and the footage is all distorted, and my body's like, nope, that's not real. And then I just cry a little bit, and so those get me. And we watched a Japanese one for our foreign horror episode called Noroi the Curse.
Yeah,
and
it's scary.
it is very long, but it's so good.
Yeah, and it was like really long, and you're like, I'm not even upset. It's not over.
Yeah, like I'm like
I just
ready.
am fine that this keeps going.
Yeah,
and it keeps going.
I'm still affected. I'm still like, man, that messed me up for a long time. But Kat gets messed up from other things, so it's kind of funny to be like.
Yeah, I specifically get messed up when it's like something supernatural is in front of me and I'm seeing it. So I'm like, this is something that's not real, but there is proof by visual. So it's like in the It movie when he's in the library, the one that came out a while ago, so I'm not spoiling anything. The first one, where he's in the library and like that, is he headless?
Yes.
He's headless. He starts
of the
running at him. I'm like, my face goes numb. It's like a whole time. And yeah, I'm just like.
Or
and
if
then
bodies do things that they shouldn't do,
Yeah.
like
I get
exorcism
really
movies mess her up. She'll be like, "Oh, can't feel my face."
Yep.
Like, are you okay?
Yeah, I just like don't want to see the big bad that I know isn't real. Like the whole thing is like, this isn't real, and then when I see it in front of me, I'm like, absolutely not. I still look at it, but my face goes numb, and I am now afraid. Yeah, like we watched The Conjuring like very recently, and I was actually genuinely like, what's in that closet? Can't tell me what's in the closet. And then I was like, I've seen this before. What's wrong with me?
And I'm like, the thing is in the closet.
I don't feel bad. I want to feel like that. I haven't felt like that since I was like a small child. Like, I don't know. My mom ruined it because since infancy, like, she's been having me see horror movies because that's her favorite thing. She's like, well, I'm not going to miss out on this because you exist now. So you're just going to be coming too. And at first, yeah, it was like a little nerve-wracking and when I was afraid of the dark until she gave me my little pep talk speech about the dark and whatnot and things that aren't real. And after a while, it faded. So now that I'm like in adulthood, I could go to movies. I take other people that I know are scared of things to movies so that I can sit next to them and then count down because I'm like, here comes the thing where they're about to like jump because it's going to get really loud and then they're just like, oh, and I'm like, you did the thing. I'm judging you.
Thank you for coming.
So
thank you for satisfying.
This is the entertaining part of the movie.
Yeah, that's where I get my satisfaction is from laughing at other people's frightenness.
Yeah. We like grew up in horror too.
Yeah.
So I think we're always surprised when something spooks us and we're like, oh good.
Yeah, we're like, oh my gosh, we still can.
You're like, I still have a soul because I can still be scared.
I gotta
Because
I did a scream.
It was a minute. It was like a while we went where I was just like, I hate everything that we watch. Like I'm offended or like I'm just like, this is dumb. Why? And then it was like a really long time, and then I think it was Ready or Not that brought me back.
Yeah, or even any of the foreign horrors.
This is great. I'm for it. Oh my god, there's not a single thing that's upset me about this movie. I haven't experienced that in so long. Especially after our representation series, because just watching a lot of things that upset us heavily. But yeah, like now I've like recently been like, oh yeah, things are scary. It's such a fun time.
What scares you?
So, like I said, ghosts and demons kind of upset me, and then also like that contortion thing where you hear like the bones cracking. Why is your body making that noise? Damn it!
Are you okay?
I need to call an ambulance, but also you need Jesus and I'm out of here.
You said you need Jesus. I would love to see you guys at a haunted house.
We went. It was fun.
Yeah, they're really interesting.
I've only been to one. I went to the Eastern State Penitentiary here in the city, and I did the one where you allow the actors to touch you.
Yeah.
And I was just like, I know that if I act super scared, you're gonna try and scare me even more. But if I don't act scared enough, you're gonna act extra crazy. So I have to be the right amount of scared so that I don't get dragged off into some stupid attraction I don't want to be at because I am legitimately might pee myself. So, but also I think fear is healthy. So I like to be scared, which is weird. Which is a weird masochistic
I
thing.
told you I want to be scared. That's why I go to scare houses, because now that's like the only form of scary entertainment that actually scares me.
Yeah.
Like oh my god, the boat spook house that's at what is it, Wildwood on the beach, and it's like a haunted boat. And it's really weird because then they have a sign up that's like, our crew can touch you, but you can't touch the crew, whatever. But they get kind of a little out of pocket, and I guess that's why they tell you beforehand you can't touch the crew.
No,
they will come out
at Eastern State Penitentiary, they make you sign the waiver. They will sue the shit out of you if you hit the actors. And so I had like my jacket draped over my arm, so I was holding it.
Oh, so you
because
wouldn't swing.
That fight or flight kicks in, and it's real over here. I wanted to be like, but I paid for this.
A lot.
Exactly. It's like when I go to Poland, I get bruises, and it's like I paid to do this to myself. So it's weird. Sass, what's your least favorite horror movie?
My least favorite, I have the perfect movie, Bones. That movie was so stupid to me. That was the worst. So you guys like that movie? I hated that movie so much.
I didn't see it.
I was done when I found out that like Snoop Dogg was like the main character.
Dude, they show you that in the trailer.
Yeah, I know. That's when I was done, and I was like, my mom rented that on the tape from Blockbuster, and I had she was looking at it, so at that age I looked at everything she looked at if she was looking at it just to see what was gonna happen. And I'm just like, what is this? What is it? None of the whole man. The only thing that was really like got me was the maggot part, because that was just really gross.
Yeah, like I don't like gross stuff, so I'm immediately like,
I was just like, ew, that's disgusting. But most of that movie was so crappy and cheesy to me.
It is cheesy, but I just personally love really cheesy horror films, so I get excited about them. I love all of it. Unless they do just
you're a
rude stuff.
trooper fan. If you got it.
I love the dumb ones. Yeah, go to like Walmart, get the dollar bin ones. So bad.
So for me, it has to be the right kind of dumb, because my least favorite movie is hella stupid. It's Jason X.
Oh no!
Your reactions are exactly
literally any
mine.
Jason though. But yes,
So it was my first Jason movie, because when I was young, my dad liked So my mom didn't let us watch scary stuff because she was like, y'all niggas ain't getting nightmares and coming in my bed. Yeah. And I was prone to nightmares, so she was like, definitely not you. So, but my dad was like, whatever, I'm watching it, you can sit here or go upstairs.
Classic dad.
Right. So I would sit and watch it. My dad's jam was like Candyman, Freddy Krueger, like vampire movies. So that sort of thing was what he liked. I just like slasher fix he didn't like. So I didn't see any of those. So my first one was Jason X. And I knew what it was about. People had all, so I watched it. I was like mad. I was like in high school. Yeah. And it came on, and I remember a friend of mine being like, this is dumb. My friend of mine being like, this is dumb. Don't watch it. And I was like, well, how dumb could it really be? And I watched it, and I almost put my foot through a TV.
You feel so bad.
I was like, when he puts that person's face in the cryo chamber and then smashes it on the side of the freezer, I was like, I mean, god damn, I was so mad. I was like, are you serious? Like, I was like, are you serious? Just rolling around on the couch angry with myself because somebody told me not to watch it and I watched it anyway.
Yeah, it was worse than him walking around in New York or whatever.
That's what I was saying. I'd kind of seen them like a little bit, but I never really like sat down to watch it. And it was on, and I was like, how bad could it really be?
The answer's bad.
The answer is the worst horror movie I have ever seen. Probably one of the worst movies, period, I have ever seen.
Wow.
Oh, well,
What an honor.
geez, out of all the movies.
I did a 30-day movie challenge, and I was like, what movie did I hate front to back, top to bottom?
Worse than The Panic Room?
I like Panic Room. The one with you talking about the one with Jodie Foster?
Yeah, me and my mom literally.
I liked Panic Room with Forrest Whitaker and Jodie Foster. It was like the one time Kristen Stewart was aloof and like moody, and I was like, that's fine because she's 12. Yeah, I was like, that fits her character because she's 12.
Family Guy spoof of it. That's also fun.
Yeah, no, that was funny. That was definitely
Trapped
Family
Outside.
Guy is funny. So
I
they can't.
I don't think I've ever paid.
Yeah, no, they don't. They want to give Meg back.
And then they end up like suing them.
Yeah, it's fun.
Because she like came onto the result.
That's so good.
Yeah, no, I don't think I've ever paid for a movie that I absolutely wanted to walk out of.
Yeah. That was us with Midsummer.
Yeah. We didn't
were
leave
so
though. We
stayed
tortured ourselves the whole time.
Because you were like, I paid for this.
We need, as like, it's like our profession.
Yeah,
like, we were like
we have to
obligated.
review how bad this was.
It was like, I need to see this whole awful thing.
Yeah, because then we wouldn't have a right. Like, if we were like, this was trash, they would be like, well,
did you
see this part? And I was like, we saw the whole thing, so we can say what we want to say now, and we can point at things that were wrong.
Yes.
I will say, I'd like to see more foreign films to see what's scary in like other cultures, but the only Japanese horror movie that I saw like direct from Japan was Audition, and it was so disturbing.
Yeah,
and it was like a weird. It was a weird place to start. Number one, for an introduction to like Japanese horror movies.
Cuts you right off.
But I saw it on a list of horror movies. Like it was one of the 50 best like horror movies.
Yeah.
And it was one of the very few Japanese entries. And I had already seen like the American versions of like The Ring and The Grudge. So I was like,
the originals are very good.
Yeah, but I was
the
like,
Japanese
it's gonna lose some of the nuance because I already know the story. So
It's different.
It's
Is
different,
it?
yeah.
No, so
We Americanize the shit out of it.
I believe that. So I was like, I'm just gonna pop right into the audition because how bad could it be, really?
Yeah.
And then the non-linear storytelling,
Yeah.
the flashbacks with no frame of reference at all, and then the wild dismemberment at the end of the movie.
Oh, there was a dismemberment, you say?
No.
That's where I come in.
Shorty kept a dude in a bag.
Yeah, I'd say,
and fed him throw up.
No, the reason why I say this is because the majority of like Japanese films that I've seen, they're always like based around the fear of their superstitions because they're really superstitious, and I'm not. So the whole ghost thing doesn't really get to me. And
see,
like,
that's what bothers me about it because I'm like, oh no,
you don't like the ghost.
Yeah, I don't. Not anymore. Like I didn't used to be bothered by it, but I am like now. Like I said, must be because I'm getting old. But like I am now. But so what made it wild for me was because it starts as this weird like slow burn, like this lonely old guy tricking this girl into going on a date with him, and I was like, oh, this is gonna backfire horribly. And then like when he stops calling her, and you like when she's waiting for him to call her, and you see her just sitting there by the phone, I was like, oh, shorty is fucked up. And then you see that bag roll around in the background when the phone rings, and you're like, what the hell is that? But you don't find out for another hour and a half. And you're like, what is that?
Oh, wow.
I mean, it's so
yeah.
But in the meantime, they show you all this weird stuff, like them going on dates, but these weird flashbacks of her being abused as a little girl. And you're just like, is this her? Who is this child? Why is that guy? Is he like weird sexually abusing her? Why is he burning her leg? What is going on?
Yeah. We're planning to do Takashi Miike in December. That's because we're doing horror directors. So we're gonna be targeting Audition because I don't think you've seen Audition.
I haven't seen it.
Yeah, so it'll be.
We were talking about 3 films in a row where I was like,
nope. Yeah, and I would say
I don't want to like give it away, but Yeah.
I have narcolepsy in my
she'll
brain.
forget,
don't work
honestly.
very well, so
Yeah.
I will forget we've had this entire conversation.
Yeah, I would
That's
say
the
if
one
you
benefit.
really like
relive
gore,
everything.
then Koreans got you. Korean horror films.
Yeah, very gore
They
heavy.
got the
very
gore.
much.
Also French horror films.
French, yeah.
Also very gory, very gross. Have a good time.
Anything in French?
Either one of those. Take it.
Oh, they really take it there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Martyr. You're gonna love it. I guarantee.
He's like, I'm like making a mental list.
Yeah, if you want to know.
What was that one we watched that was the Korean horror film that was very gruesome?
I'm forgetting names. Devil something.
The Devil Inside.
Nope.
No?
No.
Devil something.
I'll remember it.
Okay.
But yes.
It has the word devil in it, and it's very gory.
Okay.
So something like that.
I'd like to play to your other strengths, your
Yes.
like analytical side.
Ooh.
I would like to talk about the evolution of women in horror, because I will say for a long time I personally would not watch movies. Like I would hate to watch females on film in scary movies because all they did was cry for like an hour and a half. So, but
Get
now
snapped.
with like the advent of like the whole strong female movement, like women are starting to take charge, and they're not just surviving because some guy sacrificed themselves for them to like go on and like live and have babies named after these weird dudes.
Yeah. Aspirations.
Right. Oh no.
Yeah. There's like the whole sexy lamp thing, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So there's the.
Except the lamp would be crying the whole time.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Because you have the I'm totally forgetting on what it's called. The
Bechdel
test, right? But further than the Bechdel test is if you could swap out the female character, which is like a sexy lamp, and it would not change the story at all, then you failed as a film.
like that character was not developed enough.
Yeah,
the
it's just
story
like
that
nobody.
you created. You just put a pawn to be manipulated in this film. And
Yeah.
It was lazy.
And horror really like had a really bad rap in the beginning in regards to women, and I mean it still does in a lot of ways. But I mean we had like the blonde victim. There was a lot tied to specifically in like the 80s and 90s to virginity and women being pure, right? And if you weren't pure, then you were worthy of being murdered viciously,
Or a murderer.
or you're a murderer, right?
Yeah.
Or
Because
if
you
were,
want to have sex.
Yes. Yeah. Or if you were like a lesbian, or if you weren't like specifically straight, you were a villain as well. But then we also have like the final girl, who's like the one who's living at the end. But recently we get a lot of like revenge films, which I think are both a step forward and then a few steps back as well. Because I think it's like it's fun to see like something really awful happens to a woman and then she exacts revenge. So like one of our favorite films from this year,
American Mary.
Yeah, is American Mary, which is a woman who it's a really long rape scene. It's done by the.
I feel like
Sasuke
any rape
sisters.
scene is a really long rape
It's
scene.
already too much.
It's
Yes.
already too long.
Yeah, it was like super too much. But she was in medical school, and then she ends up like doing body modification because we did like a New Year, New Me series. So body modification was like a fun episode. But she really like ends up like exacting revenge, and that's fun. But it happens a lot where there's like now like a woman is like harmed or something, and then she comes back and she's like fighting. She's like brutally murdering those guys because
So like the brave one with Jodie Foster again, where she gets not raped, where she gets beat up or mugged or something.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and now she's like shooting people on the train, vigilante style.
And it's just like you're still a villain though. Like what would be great is if you didn't do that, or if you were just a villain for villain's sake, right? Like men don't usually need a motive. It's just like they just want to be violent. It's like sometimes women just are violent. Like they don't need an excuse. But we've had like some fun women. If you think of the film You're Next. Which is kind of like a fun take on the home invasion films, where there's like people kind of like stranger style, like mass coming after these people, and she turns out that she grew up in a home where they were doomsday preppers.
Yeah.
So she she starts putting like nails into like wood. She puts like she like Home Alone this home, and like just totally like Kevin McAllister all over these people and like mess them up. There's like a blender gets used.
Someone dies via blender.
Yes,
which
there's
is,
like a hammer that like swings.
If you like gore, you'll like that.
It's super fun, but it's like she's like fighting back, and she was never like the victim. Like everyone's a victim, and she just like happens to be really cool. So,
Yeah,
like,
and
that
I was
one
like, why
fun.
can you do this? And it's like, why
She's
couldn't
like,
I do it?
Because I'm not gonna just die.
Yeah, like,
what am I supposed to do? Cry in the closet?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So we're getting some winners. You have stuff like
Ready
Jennifer,
or Not.
Ready
also
or Not.
The
She like
woman who was fighting
she
back
was super
against the
cool.
problem.
She was never raped, which is fun.
I'm waiting for you guys to bring up my favorite beloved person, female person in horror movies. Yeah, if I'm not, is it Jodie Foster? I don't want to say her name because I don't remember her name. I never remember their names. But in Halloween, the woman who's been the main
Jamie Lee
Curtis. Oh, Jamie Lee
yes.
Curtis. Yeah, the original Scream Queen. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But she also did kind of play into those because she was a Scream Queen, and she was the final girl, right? Like she has like she's a brunette and she's like a little more like powerful in those ways, but it is repetitive, and she was put into those things. But that's just like the classic slasher kind of tropes. Yeah. So you can't get out of those. But yeah, you do have like Sigourney Weaver, wine.
Right. We're just gonna blame all of our blunders.
You also have what's her name from Terminator?
Linda Hamilton.
She is not Best Mom.
She's worse mom, but I decided she prepared him. All I'm saying.
But also, he didn't have a childhood, so
she ruined him. She almost killed some man in front of his children.
Yeah, and then but in the name of the greater good,
she did try to kill Best Dad. He was legitimate Best Dad.
It was in the name of the greater good.
Okay, we can say that.
I'm not gonna stop and say Terminator 2 is not my favorite movie of all time. But you can say what you say about Sarah Connor.
Yeah,
I will one day have her arms.
Yes. That's what we aspire for.
Welcome to the gun show.
Yeah. Try to break in this house. Yeah, I don't even need spiked boards.
I just punch you right in the nose. And we're done.
Like a shark.
Right. So you mentioned like kind of tired horror tropes, and the one thing that, and speaking of those that I didn't like, so there were two that always really bothered me. It was the crying white woman and the super smart or hip minority who still somehow managed to get killed, even despite being the smartest person in the room.
Yep.
So,
really,
really tiring.
It was a whole problematic time.
It still is.
It's not over.
I feel like there's like a unit. I don't know. Like, is it just like a? You know how people just have traditions that are just like breaking in stuff? I feel like that falls under that category for people to where they're just keeping it as a tradition.
White men are weak too. They can cry on film. It's fine.
Sometimes they had a little nerdy guy though with the glasses who can't really do anything. Does that count? And then he's just like.
But then he sacrifices himself for the crying white woman, and it's frustrating.
She always gets to win.
But he doesn't end up getting her, so.
I was say he didn't have a chance with her anyway. So.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Are there any in particular that you can think of where that like? Cause I don't really.
Where the nerd gets the girl.
Yeah.
Where the nerd gets the girl. I would say Cabin in the Woods.
Oh yes,
I forgot.
I like that.
But I'd argue that their tropes are wrong anyway. So they were advertised as the wrong tropes, and that was the part of it. So
So I was about to say that's kind of what I liked about Cabin in the Woods is it kind of turned that whole thing on its head.
Yeah.
Where it was like you thought it was this one thing, and then it turns out it's like no, they're effing with you.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, like once you figure it out, you're like, I see what you're doing here. Like, we just had a whole thing with no lights. Like, what is this right now?
Oh, Jesus.
To be fair, I was also raised by doomsday preppers, so I could also.
I actually
situation. Let's go.
So I actually am into doomsday prepping. I have bug out bags, I have bows and arrows, and like 3 days worth of food at all times in my house.
Food?
Oh, well, look at you all prepared. I'm done if I'm in the house.
I have a bug out bag in my house. I also have one in my car for emergencies. Like, that little red backpack in my trunk, it serves a purpose.
I used to be so grateful when I was younger and we lived in an apartment when I was scared of things because that was always my go-to. Because our apartment door was like this heavy metal door because I don't know, apartments always had those thick like metal
the
and they
front
had the
door
padlocks on them. So I'm like, well, I'm safe and I'm on the second floor, so they have to go through all of this. Like they had two doors to get from downstairs.
A lot of other people too,
before they even get to me. But now I'm kind of like, that's the only thing that I don't like is that I'm like, if anything goes wrong, I'm gonna be like one of the first houses to be attacked because I'm on like the first floor in the like duplex that I live in. So it's just easy access. Like I hear people when they walk by on the street, so I'm like, oh my god, they're just gonna like break my window and climb right on in, and I'm done. And I don't keep enough stuff stocked in the house. I'm a bad shopper. So
Sassy, like your whole society would collapse in 3 days.
Yeah,
if the trucking
it would. I'd
industry
be
went
dead.
offline. Like
I would have to contact somebody immediately and be like, I need you to come get me because I'm gonna die. Well, it depends on the circumstances. I might want to die. If it's a zombie apocalypse, I don't want to be
You're
there.
just going to be sending everyone your goodbyes.
It's fine.
Yeah.
Now, if it's like a nuclear type of situation, because I feel like we're headed down that road dealing with Cheeto Man. I would like to be around even after that if possible, but
you just reminded me I need to buy some iodine pills.
Yeah, we need to get prepared because you never know what's happening to be there.
There are a lot of horrible ways we can die.
Yeah, Kat used to have evacuation bags for different weather troubles.
Yeah, I was a very anxious child.
Yeah,
and I was convinced we were gonna go by
weather
hurricane
disasters
or
are the ones I
tornado.
believe the most.
Yeah,
because
they happen.
It's
there.
all
Right.
the time.
I feel like that's
I
the
was
most
just like,
likely scenario.
it's raining a
Superstorm,
bunch.
Sharknado is coming for us.
I'm so scared of tsunamis, and I have no reason to be because I do not live in a location where that's actively happening.
They're
But that is my
scary.
hands down biggest
You
fear.
don't
I
even live in a state that's by the ocean.
I actively fear the ocean. I don't know what's down there, and I never want to know. Why
mermaids.
No, it's not.
Mermaids.
I don't.
Right.
Mermaids eat you. Like the ancient versions of the mermaids are brutal as hell,
Yes,
and I
they
don't
do.
want anything to do with them. But also, well, it's like my worst fear. The ocean is coming to my house, and I don't. They're not invited, and I'm not about it. And
So
I don't.
you're not gonna watch that movie Crawl?
Absolutely
about the
not.
alligator?
I have to go
Well,
watch
no,
it
I
by
have to
myself.
see it. No, I'll have to see it. I'll have to.
Oh,
I'm just gonna cry.
I
the
already
whole
said
time.
I would. I was gonna assign different friends to go watch it, so I wouldn't have to put Kat through.
I'm literally will just cry the whole time. I just open where I cannot see what is in the water is not an okay situation.
And especially if you know Super Croc is in there.
I will not go underwater in video games. That is a real thing. I pass the controller. I'm like.
And then close your eyes.
And I even became the Skyrim character that can go underneath the water, and I still can't. I'm just like, here, you have to go under this thing, the bridge. I can't find it. You have to do it because I can't.
I'll
close my eyes.
I have a real life horror story for you.
Oh no!
When I lived in Florida and I went to college at FIU, I took a class called the Ecology of South Florida because everyone told me about all these really fun field trips you got to go on. So what you did is you would go study the different ecosystems like around South Florida. One of them was the Everglades. So we took a field trip through the Everglades in waist-deep, algae-covered, murky brown water that had alligators in it. And
I'd be like, I failed this class. I'm telling you, I failed.
And
that's fine.
At one point, we were walking by, and there's alligator grass, like maybe as far from me as this wall here. And alligator grass is named that because that's where alligators make their burrows. It's like they burrow out, and that's the grass that grows because of like it creates the right environment for it. So there were real alligators out where we were in water where you could not see your like pants button. And we got stuck in the mud.
You were in it? You
Yeah.
were just in it.
Yeah,
you were standing.
So we were walking through it because it's a field trip.
Oh no! Okay, see that's where I draw
I
the
am
line.
failing
I
that
thought
class.
you guys were on a boat or something. I'm
No.
not walking through
No,
that.
it was like the field trips were like
came
most
for you.
It was so our
just
teachers.
like,
they don't care.
So our teachers like rationale was the big group of us makes the impression of one really big animal.
Yeah,
so
they
she
don't
was like, do me a favor and stay together, because I'm not responsible for you if you get separated from the group.
Well, Jesus, I don't think. Yeah, that
She was a
trip
little
is-
teeny Hispanic woman, and she was like super nice and friendly, but she was like, "Don't get separated. I'm not playing with y'all."
Oh yeah, no,
I'm not
with
coming to get
Kat.
you.
Who is playing in that situation? Then you're dead.
So it was like bears and pumas and stuff out there, and we're walking through, like, it got chest high.
Did you say pumas?
Yeah, like, or golden panther, excuse me.
What? That's not better. No.
Your face.
I don't understand.
So it was
How
like
you
chest.
even got there.
I was like, I'm black. I don't know why I'm out here, to be honest.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. Why are you out there? Why didn't your instincts kick in and tell you
I was probably gonna bomb the lecture
Oh,
because
well,
it was dumb.
Oh, no, you're right. I might have been there.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know who died in my family that day we take that trip, but that's
No,
what's happening.
literally,
That's the level of excuse that I
No,
get.
and at one point, and it was so funny because the water was so murky, you would step on fallen trees. So the person in the front would step on the tree, it'd raise up in the back, and all the people in the back would start screaming, "Ah, I'm gonna die!" And they'd be like, "It's a tree, you're fine. Did you get bit? No, you're cool." Like,
yeah, because the real danger is actually the snakes in there. I'm from
There are
Florida.
snakes in there?
Yeah,
That's a
they're
whole
and
other
they're
element.
dark too, so they can just like
Absolutely
sneak up
not.
on you, and they also hide under all the trees. Cause I'm from Florida.
You just combined my
and
two biggest.
Wow. Yeah, and we like I grew up in Central Florida, so we had like springs, and we would go swimming, and you would go for like 4 hours. You could like float down this one river, and at one point, like my family had like all these floats, and my grandfather got like stuck on something far back, and like no one noticed, and so my family was like floating back, so I stopped to like wait for him, and then like come after him, and as they were rounding a corner, my older sister just yells, "Gabe! Gator!" And I'm literally just like alone on this like balancing on this little rock with like my little snorkel, and I was just like, okay. All right, here we go.
No.
And because like where we would like go swimming in our swimming hole, like there was a little like floaty device that would like separate you from like the main area.
Yeah, from the wilderness.
From the wilderness,
The
literally
wilderness.
that one little thing. And it would be like there's just gators and all kinds of like snakes and other creatures that are literally just on the other side of that, but they just like wouldn't care about people in here. So it was totally fine.
it's because people, when people are
They're
in big
afraid of
groups,
you.
they're afraid of you because you present as one big creature.
Absolutely not.
Yeah.
I'm with you. No, we're not. Well, it's like every bad thing that exists in the animal world, you were
It's
just
in
like,
Florida?
that's in there.
I've
This
already
is in
here.
there.
I did it for a grade.
See, that's why they made that episode on Big Mouth about Florida. Because of this.
So no, it is wild, and like occasionally you get these little notices in the mail, especially after like hurricane season, because sometimes they would the rains would flush gators down from the Everglades, and there's canals and water everywhere, especially in South Florida. No, they would just get flushed down because there's so much water, it would be flooding. So they would tell you like bring your pets and stuff indoors because the alligator will come up out of the canal and eat your dog.
So what? So there was alligator mudslides in Florida? Like, this is what's going on.
I mean, it didn't happen it didn't really happen where we were, but I will say when we moved down there the first couple of months, a guy on a bike tried to be cute and bike past an alligator, and people think that because they're big and on land that they're not fast. And this gator shot up a slope, grabbed
They
this
are
nigga
very
off
fast.
his bike.
Wow. Okay.
And
see.
he was in an office park. We were like, and it was so funny because we drove by and we were like, damn, a lot of people are crossing the street here.
Oh, God.
It was because there was a
Get away
gator
from this
there.
island.
They're so fast because you
Yeah.
really don't think, but they're like.
No,
on.
yeah,
Do
it's
they
like
have repellent or
so
something?
it's because the tail propels them forward, so they leap forward really quickly, and then like once they get that running start, they can move
But
a little bit.
they don't have like alligator repellent because I feel like that's necessary, like bear repellent or something. Ain't alligator repellent.
No.
It's called "Don't Go to Florida."
Yeah, it's called
I'm
cross the
not.
street to avoid the stupid thing.
Yeah.
I'm not going there, Gabe.
I
Ever.
mean, you can.
I will
no,
never
I
go to
mean,
Florida.
I will
It's fine.
cry.
Like, don't.
Just
I feel
by
like
existing.
I feel like you're gonna cry now.
I'm so upset that there were also snakes in that water.
Yeah.
So and people dump like their pet snakes, like boa constrictors and stuff, when they get too big. They'll take them to the
Just put 'em
Everglades
up
and
in the
dump
water?
them. No, it messes up the ecosystem because it's like invasive. It's like invasive species there.
So
That's
don't just
what-
let your snakes out. If
No,
you're gonna
it-
have a snake for life.
Nah, it's
what
like
you need to do.
people buy them because they're really cute or cool pets, and then like it gets too big, they can't take care of it anymore, or like for zoning reasons, you can't have certain pets in certain areas. So it's like either be evicted or get rid of your pet, and they'll dump it in the Everglades, which is not the right thing to do either.
Yeah.
Oh Jesus.
You buy a snake, you buy it
Snake
for life. That is your
dumpings.
best friend.
Oh yeah, like just snake
You don't need to
dumping.
release that out there.
Baby snakes.
Unless it's already out there.
It's just like I thought you loved me.
Snake.
Yeah.
You
not
just
about it.
dumped me.
No, it's like Nah, it's.
Nobody
I
wants
feel
to
like I
read.
scared you for real now.
No, it's real. You just combined the two biggest fears, which is open water and snakes. Put them all in one situation.
But to get back on topic, so we went from crying women who needed to be saved to women kind of sort of surviving maybe on their own, and now like with like women seeking revenge and being the villains, like that whole woman scorned thing. What about now where women are just being in charge and kicking ass for a change?
Yeah, no, I think we do get some winners. We do get some people who are, working, like, women who are just like characters. Like, if you
full
like,
characters.
yeah, like if you could swap them out with a dude and no one would be like, this is weird, right? Like, it's just like they are just another human. But there is always still room to grow. But I would say like less abuse on women unnecessarily as like a motivation.
Yeah, so the one thing that bothers me is like where they always use rape as like a threat.
Yes,
and I'm like,
tool.
I'm afraid of being stabbed. You don't
Like I have
rape
other
me.
fears.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like there's other trauma that can take place that can motivate
I don't like
murder.
being licked outside of a sexual context.
Yeah,
That would
that's
frighten me.
terrifying.
That would frighten
You
me.
ever fear of the snake coming through the toilet and just biting you?
Right, biting.
That's a real fear I have.
You can threaten me in
same.
other ways without threatening my humanity as a woman. Like, Jesus.
And also it's such a weak threat. You could do something better.
It's just lazy. Like it's the
Yeah.
laziest thing you throw. It's like, what would give her depth? Why do we have her be raped? It's like, no, that's actually extremely lazy and offensive, and we've seen too much of it, and I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't need any more.
Yeah, and I'm just like, did you ever take into consideration that there's a lot of people who could be like triggered or upset by this, and now they don't want to look at your movie anymore?
What about?
I mean, most of the time it's not women making those films.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Most
I don't
of the
know.
time.
Maybe they need to have like a requirement to just like pull like have a woman that's just on duty,
on
so they can be
call.
like,
What is
here's
that
this
thing?
thing.
We must be in it to.
Nothing about us without us.
Nothing about us without us.
Yeah, exactly. So at least we can just get your input and pull her in and be like, ma'am, I have this script. Look at this.
It's
Do you
like when
think
they
this is
write,
appropriate?
like how they did Moana and they actually consulted like the Pacific Islanders like council.
Yeah.
Like
let's not tell
you need
your
to have
story.
stuff like that for women. Like you need to come to the council of bitches
Yeah.
before you write
Yeah.
your movie and run it by us first.
Yeah, like having a quiet place, having an actual deaf actress like be a part of the narrative and the writing section. Yeah, no, that's what they did. The actress is actually deaf, so it's significantly better. The people were doing actual ASL, like it was phenomenal. Versus something like Hush, where there was no deaf people involved and they did a
And
bad
you can
job.
really tell. Yeah. It's just
pretty
nothing
sloppy.
about us without us.
Was it tone deaf?
Oh,
Yes,
It
was a fun time, but it also was not.
It was also
not a
like
good
accurate.
thing to do.
Yeah. So, if you guys really enjoyed our guests here, where can people find you?
Sure.
Yeah, so we are wherever you can get podcasts, the Ghouls Next Door, and at theGhoulsNextDoor.com. You can send us any emails, ghoulsnextdoor@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook. We have a cute Facebook group for our little community if you want to share some spooky memes.
The Ghoul Scouts next door, which is what we are.
Because we're Ghoul Scouts.
And I know I follow you guys on Instagram. You are at Ghouls Next Door.
Yes.
Yep.
Yes. I think we're the Ghouls Next Door. And then the only thing that's like weird is Twitter, because some jerk has Ghouls Next Door as their handle, even though they don't post anything. So we're Ghouls Next Door. So no E.
NXT.
I asked Twitter, I was like, this person's impersonating me, and they still wouldn't let it go.
Oh.
I was like, this jerk is even using it. It's trash.
Yeah.
But yeah, pretty much everywhere. We're on iTunes, Stitcher, Spotify.
And you guys, so you do live events occasionally. I know you're going to be on the Tribbles tomorrow.
Yes, we're going to be on the Tribbles tomorrow. We're taking over WPPM 106.5. They are 9 to 11.
Yeah.
Okay, so for the Halloween show.
Yes.
And,
Yeah.
how often do you post your podcast? Like when can people tune in?
So we post our episodes every Tuesday, so our weekly podcast, and we have started live streaming. So when we're on, but that's kind of touch and go because we haven't found a specific time. But we do try to. We record usually a week ahead. So usually either Tuesday or Thursday evening we're recording in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Very, very cool. I have thoroughly enjoyed you guys.
Oh,
I thought you guys
so
were
much fun.
the cutest the cutest, like, funniest group at the Women's Podcast Festival. Like, you guys were hilarious.
That's so nice.
I was like, you are so right. I'm gonna die. And then I was like, fucking kids. I was like, no, I gotta get.
Yeah.
I had to look inside myself and be like, no, my will to survive is actually is surprisingly strong.
Yeah.
I talk about the greater good for a lot, but not at the cost of myself.
Yeah, right?
So
Exactly.
it's something I have to live with. So we're gonna be wrapping up shortly. As we told you guys at the top of the show, we are going to be where this weekend, Sass?
We will be at J1Con at the Showboat Hotel. That'll be in Atlantic City. We'll be there from, what is that? That's going to be November the 1st for the
Friday.
cosplay prom that'll be going on Friday, where you'll see my exquisite outfit. And then on Saturday and also on Sunday for the con.
So are you cosplaying Saturday or is it just me?
I'm gonna cosplay all 3 days. I don't do cons without cosplay.
Oh, okay.
I can't.
Yeah. So I
thought. Look!
If y'all don't get this broke ass out of here.
Oh man, we gotta hear
what the
Oh no, this is supposed to be handled.
I hate
this. Don't handle.
Exactly.
Get him!
Oh, we're fighting.
Why are we gonna get him?
You don't have to fight him.
We're good.
So anyway, as we were saying, we're going to be at Great Allentown Comic-Con at the end of this month. That is November 23rd and 24th. And then next Wednesday is Lit Karaoke. We're having a 1-hour episode. Come out to Chuck's Alibi. We might bring our corpse here just to show off we are bad bitches and we don't like to be fucked with.
And now let's unmask who this person is.
Why it smell like Cheetos? Oh, it's just
wow, it's old man Skeevy.
Oh, the mask smells like corn chips and old feet.
Shame.
So again, in case you haven't heard, these have been the Ghouls Next Door. Catch them wherever you get podcasts. Follow them on Instagram at Ghouls Next Door. We have been Head Nerds in Charge Ladies Night. You can follow me and Sassy on Instagram at yokai_sassy. And I'm at Teffy Wonder. Follow our cosplay pages, Cosplay with Yokai Sassy and Teffy Wonder, the Mocha Mermaid. I'm sorry I don't have any new pole stuff for you guys. I recently learned to climb and now I'm covered in bruises. Yes, but we will have new content for you guys soon, and definitely check us out this weekend. We'll be streaming live Saturday and Sunday, and we're gonna twerk on stage at the prom.
Alright.
So, do you guys come to cons at all?
Sometimes, yeah.
We gotta get rid of this body. I ain't got all night. I got big. This hat makes me look cool. Well, that is all, folks. We're out.
See ya.
Okay, bye.
Hey, let's go to McDonald's.